Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Eel Podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott and Mike. Today, we're going to be talking quickly about the latest Venom, I guess you would say TV Spotlight is the best way to describe it. And then we're going to be moving on to talking about Agatha first, then Penguin, and then a character spotlight from Mike.
Yep.
So before we go into talking about Venom, I do want to say something. Before we get too in depth with all the episodes, obviously we watched Agatha first, right? I watched Agatha and I legitimately said there's no way the next Penguin episode can get to this level. And then I watched this episode and I was like, they're at the same level. And I was like, I wasn't prepared.
As soon as when I saw this week's episode of Agatha, I was like, "Oh, this one's gonna blow Penguin out of the water."
That's exactly what I said.
And then I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I legitimately said the same exact thing, and I was like, I was watching Penguin, and all of a sudden, I think it got maybe. I don't think it was quite to the halfway point, but it was pretty close. Like maybe it was a fourth of the way in. I can't remember, but it was just at one point I went, "Oh no, this is going to be just as good." Okay, I'll see you.
I mean, it's honestly like they're going all out with these two shows, and
these two shows competing. Well, because here's the thing. Because they were at different levels, and what I mean by that is like they started one started with 2 episodes, the other one just started with 1. So I was like, they're going to be at different points. Yeah. And then this one, it felt like they both hit their peak.
Oh yeah, I mean,
at least potentially.
There's still more to go. Like they still have a long way to go.
I know, but
it's like
it's yeah. So
I mean, you can't really say like, oh, they hit their peak because it's just
Let me rephrase it this way. They both hit a marker that was even towards each other, and I wasn't expecting either of them to get that high that quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even like I know we're drifting a little bit, but like even with Agatha, I wasn't expecting him to be at this point already.
So I'll say this: like everything we saw, and I want to say both episodes was something I was expecting later.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine what the rest of the show is going to be like if we're already here.
No, I know that. Well, that's kind of my point. We'll go in more detail about my thoughts on Agatha and Penguin of where they're going next. But like what I thought,
and it's like
way too quickly. Well, I shouldn't say way too quickly in a bad way. It just happened quicker than I expected. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's even still like it's. We never talked about this, but Agatha, it shows a lot about how, because this is this is the best Marvel show that we've had in a long time, and it is. And it goes to show that you don't need a big budget to make a great show, because they have announced that this is the lowest budgeted Marvel show ever. So it costs less than every other show that they've made, Star Wars and Marvel, whatever. And it's doing.
The other thing too is WandaVision was also a cheap one too.
It was cheap, and I mean,
it was one of the better ones. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
And like we discussed this before, and we've discussed this a million times, WandaVision I was expecting nothing from.
Yeah, it was the first one, and we didn't know what to expect.
Correct, and it was incredible, right?
Yeah.
Then we got, Loki we were expecting to be good, so let's not even talk about that one.
Loki, we were expecting to be good because we had the hype of WandaVision, but then
but it's also Loki. It's also
yeah, but we didn't know what to expect either.
No, I agree, but you understand what I'm saying. Like our standards got significantly higher after WandaVision, right?
It did.
And then I feel like our expectations got lower, and then this brought it back up.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've had some good shows. I don't remember everything. I don't remember all the shows that we've had, honestly, since. But I mean, we have Secret Invasion. That was like the low point.
Yes. So the good ones were WandaVision, Loki, both season 1 and season 2, Moon Knight.
Yep.
And I think those were the only ones. Because not that Miss Marvel wasn't good.
Well, those are the top tiers.
Those were the top tiers for sure. Because even Hawkeye didn't compete with it.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. There was She-Hulk. I mean, Secret Invasion, like you said. I mean, there's more shows. I just don't remember. I mean, What If?
What If though? What If is
top tier?
That's top tier for sure. I think those are it though. Like those are the big ones.
Yeah,
those are the big ones for sure. And
I
then
mean, we have to sit down and really look at them again because I
no,
don't
hundred
remember all
percent.
of them off the top of my
But
head.
I'm gonna say right now, and I know this is early, but I think Penguin and Agatha are gonna be in the top three
For this year,
for this year. And
I
the
would
reason,
have to agree so far.
no, so here's my thing. The reason why I said the top three is because I might change my mind just slightly, but I mean,
I mean, once we re-look at everything, because like I said, we've taken in so much content this year.
no,
I
this
don't
year's been so
remember.
much.
Yeah, I don't remember what we've had anymore.
But I
So
think,
I
well,
mean,
no, like the reason why I say that is because I think Ahsoka was this year, and I'm like, that was pretty peak too.
no, Ahsoka, and Loki was last year.
But it was the end of last year.
Yeah, it was towards the end.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
that's why. Okay, no big deal. But you understand the
As
point I'm making.
because I remember that because when we did our ranking at the end of the year,
Oh, that's right. You're right.
they were
You're right.
I
They were
put
the
Ahsoka
freshest.
and you put Loki.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's right. You're right. But anyway, you get my point I'm making. Like there was a lot of stuff that happened in a short amount of time.
Oh yeah. I
But not in
mean,
a bad way.
it's
So we've like went all over the place. So we're gonna quickly talk about Venom and then go right into Agatha. So Venom, there was another TV spotlight. It was of Hot Wings, Hot Ones. Sorry, Hot
hot.
Ones.
Yeah, he's eating hot wings.
Yes, but it's from Hot Ones, and it's supposed to be
Yes.
the whole thing that Venom is gonna be interviewed. Is the whole point of it? Is the assumption? And he begins. He's like, "Oh, this is nothing," and he eats it, and he's like, "Oh!" He starts freaking out, and then he pours what is
Milk.
it? Milk juice? No, cow juice.
Yeah, cow juice.
That's right.
I
No,
need
'cause
more cow juice.
I forgot. I was like, he phrased it not as milk. So he's just saying, why is this making it worse? That he breaks open a fire extinguisher and sprays it in his mouth. He's like, it's still burning.
Nothing's helping, and then he ends it by as the title card comes on in the movie, he yells, "It's like licking Satan's nutsack."
Yes, it was hilarious. I mean, again, Mike and I have talked about this a million times. If we haven't talked about it 1,000, it's been legitimately like I'm just concerned about this movie just because of all the advertisements. But everything I've gotten, I haven't disliked.
I have not disliked it. I've been laughing my ass off with each commercial that have been coming on, and I'm just expecting this to be a fun ride.
No,
and
I know before
you were talking about how like, oh, they were over advertising it. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
Yep. All right. Steph, let the headphones die.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you slightly.
Okay,
I'll have to.
That's fine. Just be careful.
Go ahead.
Of the echo.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
no, I just said just be careful. I don't care.
But so I know before you were talking about you were worried about over advertising because of the Joker, and obviously with the reception of the Joker, I don't think they have much to worry about.
No, I will agree to that, but what I'm stating is just the fact of it's just a concern.
Yeah,
You understand
absolutely.
what I'm saying? Like it's like when you over advertise something, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Maybe Agatha was Agatha over.
No, not really. I haven't heard.
Feel like I
didn't hear
saw
too
more
much about
stuff once it came out, once it started.
it.
Like,
The thing that I heard a lot of advertisement for that I knew that was bad was Justice League way back.
Yeah.
More recent, I think maybe Secret Invasion. I know that they were kind of hyping it up a lot towards when it started getting closer.
Maybe that sounds accurate too, but I feel like it was more. I don't know. I get your point you're making, and I understand it, but I also feel like they didn't.
I mean,
give us anything.
Joker was all over the media
No,
because of Lady
Joker
Gaga.
Joker was 100% well over. Oh no, I'm thinking of Shazam 2. It wasn't that they over advertised it; they put too much into the trailer.
Oh yeah, they put too much. Yep. And I mean, then they just killed themselves.
No, absolutely. But I mean, what I'm getting at is like I knew there was something else I was thinking of, but it was a different topic. It was a different issue.
Situation.
A different situation. But anyway, so let's get right into Agatha. So this is the third trial we got to see.
Yep. And we were both kind of wrong. We didn't think it was Agatha's trial, and we did not expect it to be this one.
No, but in a way, we were correct because it was the last one. So we think.
So supposedly, I mean, we're still gonna get the other two, but how we're gonna get there is a different. How is what we're gonna figure out.
No, absolutely. Basically, what happens is the Salem Seven come out, and they're all as different animals.
Yes,
Um,
I mean it makes sense because technically, I mean, if you're looking at witches, they each have their own kind of spirit animal, and they all have their own personality kind of thing, and
yes,
each
but there's
animal represents something different.
yes, but there was something specific about the animals, and I can't remember now.
Oh, I
Each
mean,
no, each animal represented something specific because it was very specific.
oh,
It was owl. It
uh,
was it was
a wolf.
snake, a wolf, a fox. Hold on.
Yeah,
You
well,
talk for a second. Talk about so anyway
the
they would
Salem, basically the Salem Seven found their way into the Witches' Road because apparently they needed to close the door to enter, and they didn't. So anyone apparently can enter once it's open, which is kind of interesting. Um, I don't. I mean that for me that just kind of sounded a little bit weird. Um,
What do you mean?
I feel like once the people who in my head it would be once the people who summon the door, once they enter and they close the door, then that's it, and not just anybody could then get in, you know.
Aha! I knew.
Okay, now what do you know? Please share.
Oh no. So the Salem Seven had like different animal type, um, like things with it. So we only saw four animals.
Okay,
Although we saw all seven members, we
we
only
only saw
saw
four animals.
four animals, and the assumption is we might have heard, we heard a wolf, but I'm not 100% sure it was a wolf. I know
True,
that's a weird statement, but bear with me.
could be
So
any
the
kind of dog creature.
correct or yes. So the four animals we saw were a fox, a crow, an owl, and a snake.
Right, the crow. Right.
I
Yep.
was like, I know. So I was like, I don't remember seeing seven animals, and that was because I was accurate.
I don't.
Um,
I mean, I don't remember the snake to be honest. So,
no, the snake. Honestly, looked like it fit there.
did it?
Meaning,
Okay.
meaning like the way they made it look was, even though obviously there were no animals on the Witch's Road, like the snake was just like I don't want to say it was an afterthought because it did look good, but I mean like it was legitimately like it's here, but you're meant to just like see it quickly, like bye. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Okay. Yep. You would only pick it up if you were really looking.
And so quickly talking about the Salem Seven, Nicholas Scratch, who is the son of Agatha,
Yep.
the Salem Seven originally were um, his daughters.
Is what?
Oh, I'm sorry. One of the Salem Seven is Nicholas Scratch's eldest daughter.
Oh, okay.
So Agatha's granddaughter.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
Sorry, I wanted to say that because I wanted to make sure I had that right.
now is this this is from like the comics or
This is
this
from the
is
comics. So this is from
okay?
the comics. So my guess would be so Nicholas Scratch was, well, is I say was, but is in the comics Agatha's son.
Yep.
Um, and the idea was he created what was he and Agatha. It's a weird it's a convoluted thing because Agatha doesn't age like normal people. You know what I'm
Clearly.
saying?
I mean,
Well, because she's
none of them really age.
correct, but there's like a weird thing where she was older back in the '60s and now is young again. It's a weird convoluted thing. But anyway,
I
um,
kind of take that as she just took other witches' powers and got herself younger.
I think she could just manipulate her the way she looks to benefit her because she made herself older to win the trust of the Fantastic Four, and then later on decided to make herself look younger because people wanted to needed to be taken seriously, and nobody takes an elderly person seriously, at least in the comics. Um, anyway, so
Are you talking about she did that in the comics, like made herself older in the comics,
well,
and
no, the
or
idea is
because
like she made herself younger, so like she looked old when she was first introduced.
in the
Um,
comics?
in the comics. And then
Okay.
later on, she now looks younger. She actually looks more like a combination between Rogue and the White Queen, Emma Frost.
Okay. Yeah.
She's got like this weird gray thing. Anyway,
No, I
Um,
just wanted to clarify because I was going to say technically the Fantastic Four isn't introduced in the MCU yet, and they're not even part of our main
no,
universe
no, no,
yet.
I'm talking about the comics. So my
Yeah.
apologies. I'm talking about the comics. So, and then in the movie though, the MCU, Agatha's been the same age throughout. Like she's looked the same throughout.
Okay.
Um, or at least that's how it's been implied.
That's how
Like we
she.
don't
That's how she's been portrayed so
correct
far.
exactly. So the idea is in the comics, New Salem was created by her son. She's helped out with New Salem and everything else. It was like its own oasis. She left them. They felt they were being attacked or left to fend for themselves, and that's when they go after Agatha. Um, so again, that's what it was in the comics. We don't know if that's what it's going to be like in the show. I'm very curious as to what's happening here. But anyway, so they go after her. They go after the group. They then use brooms to get out of there, which is by far a funny sequence in of itself.
They were all just very pissed.
We're not doing brooms, okay? That we're better than brooms. And he's like, "What do you guys have a problem with brooms? It's a stereotype of our people, and we will not have it be done that way." And then one of them goes, "Because it's easier to fly."
No, it was that you were right. It was just this funny sequence, and then the teen is just sitting there like, "What's going on?" What?
And so they make it up, and then they fly away, and then the road pulls them back down to the next area. Although we technically saw a fifth Salem 7 who turned into the bugs. Because remember they
Oh,
ran
okay, yeah. That's I
but
guess
I'm not but I'm not sure I'm not confident on that one. Meaning like
I
I'm
wouldn't
more
really call that. I wouldn't really call that as a thing.
because it
As
wasn't
more
shape
just like a
shifting, it was more like I'm dispersing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, that's fine. But you understand what I'm saying. It was like I know there was a fifth one, and there was.
Mhm.
But anyway,
Technically.
yeah, technically it could have been one of the same ones, to be honest with you. But anyway, they ram through them, and then they go inside the third trial. Inside the third trial, it was very much 80s like. In fact, gave me Camp Crystal Lake vibes of the 80s,
Yeah.
of the internal area, not everything else that was going on, but the looks and everything else. So we have that going on. Apparently, it turns out that it's Agatha's trial, which we already talked about because of the blood moon, and apparently it's because the blood moon weakens the barrier between the living and the dead. Or I'm sorry, the barrier between the living and the dead is at its thinnest during the blood moon.
Hmm.
And so they go through the whole place. They find a Ouija board. They have to use it. And also the instructions that the teen reads makes me question a little bit after the end of this episode, after what happens at the end, because of the way he phrases certain things. Like
What do
you're
you
not
mean?
gonna, so like you're not gonna over talk each other. You can't
And then
like
they
go.
instantly start doing it.
Yes, you know what I'm saying. Like, but it was the way he phrased certain things where I was like, oh, this is kind of like a fun little thing. But it's like, was that really written on there, or did he create it? Which we'll talk about a little bit later.
So you're going on the theory that he's trying to manipulate.
Well, we're gonna get into that a little bit
Yeah, we'll get
heavier,
into it, but
only because I have my thoughts. I don't think by himself he is. I'll say it that way.
mhm. Okay.
So anyway, we have the Ouija board. They begin to do the whole thing, and it's unclear if the first interaction with a spirit is real or not, because they supposedly meet Miss Hart.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming she was messing with them
Well, yes. No, no,
based
no.
on
So it was
her.
no based on the possession piece. Yes.
Uh huh. Yeah, and then
So she
by
fits.
her by
She
her by how she got all cranky after the Earth Witch called her out on it.
yeah. So basically, my whole thing was the fact of like that made me think at least the first interaction was fake
Mhm.
from the get go. Especially because when she was possessed, and I put that in quotations, it was just her pretending to be Mrs. Hart.
Yes.
So when they
Yep.
try again, it's about Agatha needs to be punished. Agatha needs to be punished. Um, and Agatha freaks out and lets go, and that's when she gets possessed legitimately this time, and she begins to try to kill everyone.
Yep.
Um, and,
And
and apparently, when they turn on the lights, the spirit leaves her body, and it turns out to be her mother, who we got introduced to during WandaVision.
yep, we got a small little snippet, and then we got a small little snippet again in this. No, wait, no. It was
No, it's
like
the same thing.
previously. It was like
the same thing.
previously on.
Yeah, but it was the
Yeah,
same. Yeah, but it was the
yeah.
same
No,
scene.
no, 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 no. I thought it was. Yeah.
No, we got more information from her mother, which
No,
was
we got more
really messed up.
information. Yeah, but
But which was really messed up, and I actually feel bad for Agatha. And that's saying something for a woman who's been around for thousands of years. Well,
no, no.
potentially.
Well, she's been around for a long time and done some very bad things.
Which she doesn't not stage that she did. You know what I mean? Like she
Oh
admits
yeah.
to all the stuff that she did. But anyway, so the whole thing is apparently like they're trying to, I guess, find common ground between the mother and Agatha, so the spirit is then released. Is the thought process of what the trial is?
You have to put the spirit at rest.
Yes. So apparently, Agatha's mother says, I knew when I birthed you. No, no, something along the lines of she was like, I should have removed you once you left my. I should have eliminated you a moment you exited my body.
Yeah, basically said as soon as you were born, I knew you were evil and I should have killed you.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, thanks, mom.
And then everyone actually defended Agatha in that moment.
No, 100%. There was not a single person who did not defend her at all. And then she gets repossessed again, which is a weird statement I thought I'd never say. And that's when Alice uses her powers of protection to shoot out the spirit away from Agatha. And that's when Agatha absorbs Alice's powers and takes it for her own. However, I will state she stopped before gaining all of it.
That she did. Yep.
The reason why I know that is because there was still more to be taken, and I believe that still right now. She only stopped when the teen said Nicholas Scratch,
Yep.
who obviously we've talked about before, and his name has been mentioned already in the very first episode of Agatha All Along, which was on one of the plaques in the empty room at Agatha's place. It's her son, and it was it was it was given the illusion that it was his spirit speaking.
We've gotten a few hints at him throughout the
Well,
show,
we've
anyways.
gotten a few hints that he existed in general, but
Yeah.
we're also getting major hints that whether he's dead or not is a different story. Agatha is under the assumption he's dead.
Yes.
I'll say it that way because it's the best way to
Especially
describe it.
especially after the Green Witch finally, like last episode, confirmed that the teen is not him.
Yes. So we have that happen, and then so she stops what she was doing, and the ghost is gone,
Mm-hmm.
and the door is open for the trial to be over.
And Alice is seemingly dead.
And they go to help her out. Agatha goes to help him out, and that's when the teen yells at her, saying, "Leave her alone. You've already done enough."
Mm-hmm.
And so Agatha leaves. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. At this point, we no longer see the Green Witch for the rest of this episode. I don't know if you noticed.
I did.
Okay.
Yep, I did notice that.
So it was right when Alice dies. We see her for a second, and then we never see her again. For the rest
Yep,
of the
she gives Agatha a very like I'm gonna kill you look, and then that's it.
Yeah. And so anyway, Agatha is the first one to leave, and I actually do believe Agatha does feel bad.
I do. I believe that Agatha did not mean to do that because the Alice used her magic, and Agatha, being the witch that she is, just automatically starts absorbing the power. And once she started absorbing it, she couldn't control it anymore. Like, because that's the type of witch that she is. She wants power, so obviously she's going to start doing it.
Well, I also think too, like, because in a way she can control it.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe she can to a certain degree. Okay. However, she likes that feeling so much that I think she can't stop it, but she can stop it.
That's basically how I agree with you. I kind of see it the same way. Like she can control it, but because especially with the fact that she's had no power for so long now.
Yes.
The fact that they shot her and she's getting this power back.
Power again.
Yes, she's feeling power again. She lost control and couldn't control it more so. And then obviously once Teen yelled at her, it knocked her out of the trance that she was in, and then she stopped.
Well, specifically her son's name. I want to make it very clear.
Well,
only because although yes he did yell, but he yelled something very specific. Because they had tried to stop her before and nothing was working, and that's when the Ouija board started going crazy, and it was Nicholas Scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she stopped.
Yep.
So she's the first one to leave the trial. Okay, Agatha, I mean.
Yep. And then it's followed by the teen.
Yes, because the other two had to convince him to leave.
Yep.
Because they had to convince him that Alice was gone.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and so he left, then they left, and then somehow they got in front of her, them.
Well, they because the teen was yelling at Agatha, and the other two just continued walking to
Thank
proceed
you.
through the path.
Thank you.
And then
I was like, I knew there was like a very small piece I couldn't remember. But anyway, so Agatha says like I couldn't control it, and he's like, yes, you could. You know, you could have. He goes, we don't need to kill people to get our powers, and that's when Agatha snaps for a second and goes. She says something along the lines to alluding to the fact that she knows his mother,
Mhm.
which I think at this point she had it down to two people. It
Yep.
was either her son or Wanda's son.
I personally don't think that she thought it was Wanda's son until the Green Witch confirmed that it wasn't hers, and then she's like, okay, then there's only one other person this could be.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
That's in my head.
I agree with you. But in my mind, she's like the only other person that would be Wanda's kid. So it's like, you understand what I'm saying? So it's like there were only two people in her mind that could ever do this. One never existed in her mind, and the other one is dead.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so then she knew after being told that it wasn't her kid that it was obviously Wanda's. And
Yeah.
then something happened I wasn't prepared for, which was he mind controlled Lillian and Jennifer to throw Agatha off the road.
Yep, and let the road consume her, I guess.
Swallow her. I don't know what
Yeah.
way of phrasing it. And then he then shot an energy blast or magical blast, whatever you want to call it, at the two of them and shot them into the off the road as well, and they got absorbed into the road as well. And the episode ends with a close up shot of him in what looks like potentially could be hell. It's really unclear where he is, but he has his crown that is very similar to his mother's.
Yep.
But there is something I wanted to mention about his powers. What did you notice about his powers that when he used it? Because there was something very specific. And if you just tell me the color, I'm going to slap you in the face. Although the color is significant, the color by itself was not what made me want to explain this to you. Because if you, all right, so when we
it is well, so if it's based off the color, basing it off of the Infinity Stone, it's the Space Stone.
Okay, so all right. I'm gonna say good for you, yes. Although that's not where I was going with this. There was something about the shape of his magic that was different than the witches. When
the shape?
Witches, yes. There's a very reason why I said this. Shape. When Agatha and when Jennifer, no, not Jennifer, sorry. When Agatha and Alice have used their powers, what does it look like?
Roughly. I guess an energy beam kind of thing.
Lightning, all of it. I'll agree with all of it, right? Some sort of beam, okay?
Yeah.
But when the teen used his magic, what did it look like? In fact, it's in the same shape of a of another character who uses magic. Multiple characters who use magic, actually.
I mean, the only other character that I think of that uses magic is Doctor Strange.
Yes. And if you noticed, the way his magic looked, it was of the mystic arts variety.
I didn't pick up on that.
It's different than the witches. The reason why I bring that up is because he must have been trained by somebody of the mystic arts, not of witchcraft. That does not mean he can't do witchcraft, but he is trained more specifically in the mystic arts.
Which is why he needs the notebook for the magic.
Because it's different type of magic.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay? So that's the big piece I wanted you to notice there, because he used very similar to Doctor Strange magic. The only difference is his was blue, and obviously Doctor Strange and all the other mystic art users is more of an orangey yellow.
Yeah. Orangey yellow, yeah. Wasn't somebody green too?
No, it was only green when he used the Eye of Agamotto, which was when he used the Time Stone technically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I just remember there was a green sometime when they were doing green, and I just didn't remember if it was a character or
the Time Stone. And so technically, he was the only one to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, but you understand my point I'm making.
It was for a specific situation. Yeah.
Correct. A specific spell. Um, but yeah, so I wanted to make that clear to you because that also changes where his magic comes from.
Yeah. Um,
Um, but yeah, so
Speaking speaking of like the stones, and we're seeing that we were you were, but in previous episodes you were tying all of their magic to the stones. Um, I saw a theory that seeing that the idea right now is that he gets his powers from, well, you're saying the mystic arts, but technically because of the color, it would be the space stone.
yep.
Um, Now the clairvoyant, which is kind of doesn't have a spot for it. So I'm seeing that a lot of people are theorizing that she's going to sacrifice herself to bring Alice back, so that way Alice would fit with the stone. Um, I don't know if you would agree with that, but that's that. I saw someone come up with that theory, and I said, I mean,
Well, I also never thought Lillian, the clairvoyant one, was not the space stone. She's the mind stone. The
you
space
think
stone, the space stone, I thought was Jennifer technically, because Jennifer was the water element.
right. Hmm.
So I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that theory's wrong. It might not be. I'm stating I don't know where the teen fits in all of this. Meaning, like magic wise, if you understand my point.
Yep. The thing that I saw, I have it up right now.
I mean, I believe you. I'm not going to
No,
argue
no,
with
no.
you.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Agatha has the Power Stone, purple.
Yeah, but that goes with everything because she takes people's power. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't.
yeah.
It's like so Power Stone. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then we know this Wanda Reality Stone.
100%.
Then Rio the Green Witch Time.
Yep.
Um, Billy Space
Mm-hmm.
Blue. Alice Soul Red or Orange.
Oh, protection of the. Oh no, I said that. Never
Yeah,
mind.
you did.
I'm
And
proud of
then
myself. I'm proud of
and
myself.
then Jennifer is the mind, which is yellow.
I would feel like the clairvoyant would be the mind, not the potions.
I'm just, that was what I saw online, so that's why I wanted to bring
No.
it
I
up
get
and
it.
get your
Here's the thing.
thoughts.
I understand it in the sense of like, because the clairvoyant one I believe is going to be dead. No offense. I feel like she's not going to make it.
Mm,
Because she's going to see something happening and she's going to stop it. But for it to stop, she's going to have to die. I
yeah,
have a feeling of that. However, I don't know. Jennifer, I have to see her powers because really have.
I feel like those two could kind of go either way with that because they both have to have they both have to have a clear mind in order
Yep.
to do their power.
No, here's the thing. I 100% agree with you. But I think what throws me off is the healing part of it all. Because like she's known more for like causing, creating potions and stuff like that, which makes me think different. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. We're
I
gonna find
mean,
out
so
more.
I guess if we're going back to her trial, the potions she couldn't. I know it's technical. Excuse me. But she couldn't get her potions correct until she had a clear mind.
All right, no, you know what? That is valid. And I also think too, as weird as it sounds, you don't need a clear mind to be clairvoyant. I know that sounds weird to say. So okay, you know what? I'm gonna go with it. Here's the thing. I don't have a better answer. The
No, no,
meaning
no.
like
I mean,
no, no, meaning like
I agree with your thing sounds right. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not saying I agree with this one more than yours. I feel like it could go either way at this moment.
no. I get what you're saying, and I think for me too. I think as weird as it sounds. I think it might be too early. You know what I mean? Like as weird as it sounds, like we're gonna have to wait to see what happens in these next couple episodes
Oh yeah, I mean, what
because
this was only episode 4. So I mean, either way we have either 4 or 5 more episodes to go. It should be episode 5 because
that
Penguin
was
is
episode
episode
five.
4, and this is
Yes,
one episode ahead.
yes. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, I'm not. But first off, this was actually a phenomenal episode. I'm not mad at where it's going at all. I just
Where
wasn't
do you
expecting.
think this is going to go?
So we're gonna go to underneath the road, um, and I don't know what that is.
Yep,
So
obviously.
so no, meaning like my immediate assumption is hell, but I feel like that's too obvious.
I kind of, yeah. Well, I mean, if if we are getting Mephisto, it would make sense to go there.
Yes, but I feel like because the road's in a different plane of existence, Mephisto's realm underneath it would be weird.
True.
But again, I'm nitpicking here. But I think it's some place where the teen has called his home for a bit.
I mean, yes, I can see that.
At the very least, if it's not Mephisto's realm, which again, I'm not saying that it is or isn't. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense right now for it to be
Mm,
the case. It's got to be where the teen has been living or working. I guess that's the
existing.
phrase. Yeah. And I have a feeling. I mean, obviously they're going to escape in some sort of fashion. How that's going to look, no idea. How does the Green Witch fit into all of this? I think in a weird way, her and the teen are working for the same person. Whether it be
Oh, okay.
Death or Mephisto, they're both working for the same person.
That would be interesting.
But they don't know it. Well, let me rephrase it this way. The Green Witch doesn't know it. Because the teen, I think, knows more than he's leading on for obvious reasons.
Absolutely, definitely.
Especially after this, he knows a heck of a lot more than.
Oh yeah, he's playing dumb real good.
Yeah, 100%. He did a great job of it too.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's been great. I obviously have absolutely no idea where this is going. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm going to, off the assumption that we're not getting a trial next episode. So,
Oh no, I'm agreeing with you on that one. I don't think so. But I will say this: I do think though that this is my prediction right now, and it's the team's reason for Agatha to go on the road had nothing to do with him and had all to do with her in the sense of proving that she's changed. And it failed, and that's why he snapped because she failed.
so he wanted to prove that she can be good, but because
I'm
it
not going
was
to say good, I'm going to say work with others
okay, yeah,
because I feel like good is too far on the spectrum. But I think working with somebody else without
not not
stabbing them in the
not
back,
evil.
basically. But you understand the point I'm making. Like it's one of those things where it's like it's a tough scenario in general because it's like it's awkward and all that stuff because we just got him turning and we don't even know why he's turning. We only know for the fact that he's got the crown of his mother and he might be the nexus being of his universe.
Yeah. Now, when you say his universe, you don't mean 616.
Correct.
You don't seem confident in that.
Well, because this is where it gets weird because like this is where it gets really really tricky because the original body is from a different universe. So his soul is from a different universe. But
Mhm.
the body he's in now is from 616.
Okay.
It's a weird world that it's very hard to explain.
I understand where you're going with this.
So
The
think of it
only
this way: like House of M was a different universe, right?
yeah.
She made all the mutants disappear, right? And
Yep.
that's where Billy and William. No, those are the same names. William and what the hell is the other kid's name?
I forget.
But anyway, so basically they turn into they obviously get taken away by Mephisto, right? And they eventually turn into heroes later on. However, we don't know this because Mephisto took their souls. They were so powerful creations of Wanda that they literally possessed two other children. Like they became two other children's in the plane of existence of 616 and
Yep.
later become Wiccan and Speed, which later finds out they were actually twins spiritually, and their spiritual mother was Wanda, even though their physical mothers are different.
Thomas.
Thomas, thank you. Thank you.
Um,
Anyway, but yeah, so this episode was really good. Wasn't expecting it to be as it was, not in a bad way. Um, but I'm dying for this next episode because I need to know what's going to happen next.
next week can't come soon enough.
I mean, like I might not watch it. Like I'm not watching it late Wednesday night, but I'm watching it.
Oh yeah, no. This is so picking up. Like it hasn't dropped. We've been talking about it. I mean, oh, actually, you know what? The other top tier show for Marvel. I know it's technically not part of the MCU, but it's X-Men '97. I know
Oh
jumping
yes,
back.
no, you're absolutely right, completely. Because I didn't think of it as the MCU, which it technically isn't. But no, you're right. That was such a good one.
Yeah.
Um,
It literally just popped into my head, so
you're
that's
absolutely right.
I had to say it.
I mean, episode 5 alone was
No,
what, like, legitimately, like, it. I think it was nominated for awards for just that episode.
no, that episode was insane.
Uh, yeah, like the best episode, if not of all time. But at least as of
Anyways,
right
back
now.
on topic.
Well, no, I mean that's pretty much it for Agatha. I mean, there's not really. It's mostly just speculation at this point. Like we really have no idea
Oh
what's
yeah.
going to happen next. So we're going to have to wait for
No,
next
they're
week to
they're they're
find out.
do- they're doing a good job with the show and keeping us like we have obviously speculation, but it's not very obvious like, oh, this is definitely going to happen.
Well, here's my thing. So when you told me that the Funko Pops gave away 2 characters, I was like, oh, this is going to be big plot twists and everything else. And I'm like, it's not.
No.
Legitimately, although we might now know who they are, like before their big reveal, we have
Uh-huh.
no idea what their thoughts are. Like
Oh yeah.
we thought the teen was a good guy, and it's looking not.
I mean, he could technically still be.
Yes, but it's a weird. I'm going with a no for right now. Based
It's
on
a
this
it's a,
episode,
it's a tight line. I mean, don't forget, like he's attacking.
going after Agatha. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, technically, he went after the other two who aren't exactly showing any evil signs at the moment, but he also could have just, like you said, he snapped. So just then lost control of his power.
Oh, well, that or the fact of he didn't want any witnesses, which is even
That too.
funnier to me because they're gonna go where he goes, which is so weird.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, for me, it's just like they're not going to say anything about him taking out Agatha.
No, but I feel like there was a reason for it. But anyway,
I mean, obviously, we're going to find out next episode. That's for sure.
so let's get right into Penguin because I feel like we've talked all we could about Agatha. Still,
Yeah.
great episode.
Absolutely. And I mean, and like you said, just like, shifting over like, after Agatha, when you said, I don't think Penguin can top this, and it's doing a great job
Well,
that these
I was
shows are actually going neck and neck with each other.
Well, like I was telling Mike before we got on, and I think I said this also like in the beginning of this episode, was the fact of like although I figured Penguin was going to go another level up, I just wasn't expecting this episode to be at par of Agatha's episode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it legitimately was. So this episode was mostly a flashback.
About 95% of the show was a flashback.
But a much needed one.
Oh, yeah. So much context.
So much context. So the beginning of this episode shows us what happens at the beginning. No, at what happened in between of the car pulling up with the Maronis coming out and pointing their weapons at Penguin and Sophia, and when Vic comes by and slams his car. So there was a gap in time that we actually got filled in.
Yep,
we to prove that Penguin once again stabbed Sophia in the back, which we all kind of knew to begin with anyway, but she found out about it.
Yep, she got the confirmation. I honestly didn't think that we were going to get to this point as soon as we did. Agreed. Just like with Agatha. I thought this was going to get dragged out for like another episode or two, and it was going to be towards the
I thought there was going to be a lot more flip-flopping, and now there can't be any more flip-flopping.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Like, so she knows the truth.
Well, no, the whole thing is it's like Penguin now has to make a move for himself only, and like he can't join forces with either side anymore.
No, yeah.
And he's burnt all his bridges. At least, I'll say it this way. All the bridges except for the triads, technically.
True.
But you understand my point I'm making. Like, he's technically burnt the 2 major bridges he had in the beginning of this series.
I mean, one of the 2 major bridges is basically out of play anyways. So the Falcons, like the entire family is gone now.
well, no, but it's not.
No, I know. We got 1 left, but 2 left. Correct. Yeah.
Well, weird way 3 technically. I know we don't count her, but the little girl.
That does not count.
That counts. She's a Falcon. You're a Falcon. You're a Falcon till you die. All right.
So like when I was saying like the Falcons is out, I kind of I'm seeing Sophia is a Falcon, but I saw her as not included in that because the family was not including her in anything anyways. So she was against her own family anyway. So like in terms of power play, Sophia was in their mind off the board. which obviously was a mistake on their part.
Hold on, I gotta check something right away.
Okay, you can.
No. So keep talking. So do me a favor. Talk about the plot, and then just fill me in where we are.
Okay, I'll do my best. So plot goes through. Penguin escapes because, like Scott said, we had Vic shows up. We get the context of the Maronis telling Sophia that Penguin had uh, actually killed her brother and was using both sides. And she witnessed firsthand that Penguin was then flip flopping, trying to save his own skin. Once Vic shows up, they escape, and that is when we see Sophia pass out, making a final phone call to her therapist, or doctor, I guess, Julian. And that is when we start seeing the flashback of Sophia when she wakes up. No, she doesn't wake up. When we see Sophia going back in time, giving a speech about women in abuse,
women in
mental health. Yes, suicide. Yes.
Well, it was considered mental health specifically only because they weren't specific about suicide. It was specifically just mental health.
We hadn't gotten to that point yet. Yep. Women
was
needed help. Yep.
Her speech was about her mother's suicide.
Yep. And then she gets approached by we find out is a reporter.
We don't know at the very
we do not know at the very beginning, but we find out she is a reporter. Sophia has no interest in that because that's number one rule is don't talk to the press.
But the information that woman gives is about all these women who were found hung, but clearly they all worked for her father.
They all work for her father, and they were all ruled a suicide.
Correct, but we don't get more information than that yet.
Yep, and they go through. Sophia ends up giving her a call. They meet up. And when they meet up, Sophia finds out that there, like you said, there is more to it. And the specific thing that triggers her is they see signs of struggle in terms of the hand. They fought back. The hand was bruised. There were scratches all over the place, and that triggered a.
Chipped. And nails were chipped.
Their nails were chipped,
from self-defense.
Yep. And that triggers a flashback to when she saw her mother hung in her bedroom when she was playing hide and seek with her brother. And she finds her.
She doesn't notice anything on her mom out of the ordinary, other than obviously hanging.
Yep.
It was more her dad, where he had all the scratch marks on his hands.
Yeah. Well, yeah. She saw the scratch marks on his hand, which we find out later, even more later. But when she's going through the flashbacks, she does remember her mother's hand because she reaches up and grabs her hand and sees the bruises on her hand as well. But we do not find out about the bruises on her father until he confronts her later in the episode.
Yes. Which, by the way, the guy who they had replace the guy who was Carmine did a really good job.
He did.
Honestly, there were only a few times where I noticed he wasn't the same guy.
I mean, I thought it was him, and they just de-aged him and did really good makeup.
Well, no, that was kind of my whole thing where I was like, is it CGI? But no, it was certain mannerisms that he did that was slightly different.
Oh,
but still, phenomenal job. I'm not going to nitpick anything.
No, it was...
He did great. However, there was a scene you forgot to mention. It was when they were at dinner, and Sophia's talking about what she did. And Alberto was kind of just on the phone being stupid, and his dad's he leaves because first off, he didn't do anything his dad asked him to do. And then he leaves in the middle of what I'm assuming is Sunday dinner,
family dinner in general.
Dinner in general, yes. And then he's like, Sophia, your brother's an idiot, and honestly, this needs to be your thing.
Yep, and Sophia, we had mentioned this before about how she's a woman and how she can't be in charge, and how that would be a struggle.
About it. She's even made the joke about it even before this, when she was talking to Penguin, and was like, you're going to have it a lot easier than me because you were born with a penis.
Yep,
and she's not wrong, but it was just interesting to see.
Yeah, and then Carmine just was like, you're mine, so they're going to do what I tell them. So if I say that you're next in line, they're going to listen.
But also, we find out that if you cross him, it also won't go well.
And well, then literally immediately after, she starts questioning about her mother. He's clearly not happy about it.
He gets very unhappy about it, and then she goes to meet the press woman,
Yep.
who goes over the details of all the details of everything, and how everyone's bruise was a handprint instead of a line.
A rope. Yep.
Yes, and yet it was still ruled a suicide for all of them.
Yeah. And
And then that's when, and so Penguin's like, I can't believe you. So she flips out and basically tells this woman to go f off.
yeah.
And then she goes back into the car, and Penguin's like, what would your father say if you were talking to the press? She goes, shut up and do what you paid for. You're a driver, just drive.
Which actually, like, that one was actually a little hurtful for Penguin because of the fact that Sophia the entire episode was like, you deserve so much better.
Defending him, and like, especially with Alberto too, like treat
Yeah.
him better and all that stuff. And I think once that happened, that's when Penguin turned on her.
Yes, that exactly. As soon as she then turned around and was just completely shut him down after like he trusted her, and then I guess technically she broke his trust first. So that's when
no, I agree. Whether I do believe that those are two very different breaking of trusts.
Yeah.
However, I will admit to you that it was. I think if she would have phrased things differently, I don't think he would have turned on her.
No. I think he was. I don't think, as he said in the last episode, like I don't think he meant for it to be escalate as much as it did.
That away, I don't even think he would have mentioned it to her father. Period. Had she not done what she had done, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But like, I agree with you. I also do believe that he did not think it was going to be as bad as it actually turned out to be.
Yes.
Because what happens is they begin to open up the cases of all the suicides, claiming that there's more evidence of a potential murder, and that's when Carmine finds out from Penguin that she went to go see what's it called
at his birthday party.
At his birthday party, he found out she had talked to the press and that was against her, and then he tells her to leave.
And so obviously he knows more than she knows, and she's trying to dodge, and he keeps countering like, oh, you did this, and that's eventually when she broke down and was like, I know you didn't kill my mom and all those other people, like I know that there's a reason for it, and that's when you just see the snap, and it's like, I think you're a little not feeling well, I think, and that's when they leave. He gets pulled over by the Penguin, and Sophia get pulled over by the cops.
And obviously Penguin legitimately doesn't know what's going on at this point.
Yep. He is very surprised and is trying to help her.
And actually tries to stop the cops from taking her.
Yep. But obviously there's only so much he can do.
No, absolutely. I'm not stating he should have done more or anything like that, but you understand the point I'm making.
Yep. No.
And she's taken to
prison.
The holding cell first.
Yep, she's Gotham prison, wherever it is. There's no specific.
Well, no, I think it's a holding cell specifically at GCPD.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, like, I don't know if there's like other locations, like multiple jails in this universe, or if it's just one main one,
Well, I think each police department or each police district, I think, because there's more. Is there? I don't know. I think there's only one. But anyway,
it's GCPD.
Correct. What I was going to say is there in every police station there's, I don't want to say it's a jail, but it's a holding cell until you go to where you're going to go. So like the idea is she goes there, and that's where she meets her lawyer and Alberto, and they're stating that she's going to have to be in Arkham for 60 days before her trial.
6 months.
Yes, sorry, 6 months. You're correct. My apologies. You're absolutely right. 6 months. And she's like, I can't do this. She starts freaking out. And that's when they come in to take her away. And that's when Alberto's like, no, you're Falcone. You can handle this. 6 months is going to fly by, and then it's your trial.
I want to go, at the beginning of this episode, it was showing like a divide between the brother and sister, because Carmine was basically kind of pitting them against each other, because, Alberto in his mind is obviously going to be next in line, and Carmine is choosing Sophia over him. But then you see the relationship between the two, the brother and sister. And I think that's very interesting, because obviously, like I've said before with the two spotlights, the two character spotlights, their relationship is not this good. So I I just really like to see that. I like that close bond that they have for each other and how they're looking out for each other and how like at the beginning of the episode, Alberto, like you said, was just an idiot and didn't care.
Yeah,
But as soon as his sister was in trouble, like he got serious and he was
100%,
doing everything in his power to make sure that she was okay.
100%.
Um, which is great. You know, it's a new take on things.
Yeah.
Um,
So in Arkham, the scariest place on
which they
earth.
had already actually before she got in Arkham, they had already given her nickname, which they had
Oh yes, yes,
mentioned
yes.
in
You're right.
passing a
Yes, they're
a
calling
few
her the
times in
Hangman.
this show, the Hangman. So I
Which is
never mentioned in
hilarious
the
because
spotlight, but
when the last episode when she calls Penguin a rat, he goes, "I'm no rat," and she goes, "Yeah, and I'm not the Hangman."
yep,
I thought that was more of a dig to the fact of like, yeah, I'm not the Hangman, like you're not a rat, not realizing that she actually legitimately meant it.
yeah, no, I in this universe. So they had there was a that was a part of the character in when I was doing the character spotlight, but I had not mentioned it because I had thought that the show was going to go in a different direction. So that's
It
my
didn't. It
bad for
didn't.
not.
Well, no, it didn't. It didn't because I feel like it's also different too because she wasn't a killer before she was made into a killer. As weird as that sounds,
Oh yeah,
like she was
Arkham
perfectly
broker.
well. Her dad too. It was a weird thing. It was like a combination of Arkham and her father and her
Well, her
family.
father put her in Arkham, but then Arkham finished breaking her.
Yeah. So then, so basically in Arkham, she was basically she gets beat down her first day there. Because
Every person in there was chained except for one person, and that one person beat her.
beeline to her only.
Yep, right to
Just
her
beat her up.
because she had killed innocent women. Um, she specifically the person was specifically saying you killed those women. You killed those women.
Oh, I don't remember that piece. But anyway, I mean, I believe you 100%. I'm just stating I don't remember that piece. I thought she was just paid off by the family to be released to kill her.
No, I think
Um,
she was too insane to really realize that. She just knew that she killed women, or
well,
or
I also think that there was some payment involved for her to be released from her shackles. There was, it was like you know what I'm
I don't think
saying?
it was involving her, but somebody else. Like the
Oh no,
with
I'm not. No,
car.
no, I'm saying like the Falcons paid off the Arkham to mess with Sophia,
Oh,
and then
okay, yeah.
Arkham was like,
Yeah,
let's unhatch this person because they're gonna go after her. Like
yep.
that's more what
I
I'm getting at.
yeah, okay. I thought you meant like they were paying her. I'm like they don't
No,
give
no,
they
no, no,
don't.
no, 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 no. But there was money exchanged to make sure that she did that. Sophia got hurt.
Yes.
Um. So anyway, so they start breaking her. Uh, they then have her go against the person again. This time, the person's chained to a picnic table. Um,
One of
and
the
they,
tables.
yeah, and they give Sophia a fork, and she's like, "I'm not doing this. You're not going to make me into a killer. I'm not a killer." And that's when she drops the fork at one point, and the other woman grabs it, right, and looks like she's going to kill Sophia or try to kill Sophia, and then beelines for herself and starts stabbing herself in the throat with a fork. And I was like, "What in the heck is going on?"
So
And
if you,
Sophia gets
I'm
blamed for it.
I'm guessing you don't remember it, but when Sophia is going closer, because Doctor Floyd, no, what's his name? Anyways, the doctor was there,
Yeah,
and she's getting closer. And he's like, "Oh, you want me to do this? You want me to do this?" And the other woman was like, "Just do it, end
just
it."
end
Like
it. Yeah, yeah.
she her I guess the bolts kind of connected for that couple seconds. And when she she got scared, dropped the knife, they attacked each other, and that's when she stabbed herself to end it.
And
And
Sophia gets blamed for killing her.
Sophia gets the blame, and she
She
goes,
goes through electroshock therapy.
yep, goes through the electroshock
Which
therapy.
here's my
And
question: what was the significance of the wallpaper? Was that the wallpaper that was in her parents' room when they found her mother?
yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember what that was from, and I was like, I feel like I've seen it a million times and I can't think of it. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yep. No, it was her parents' bedroom when she found her mother, and that was to help trigger the mental breakdown. Um,
Yep, and then she kills Magpie.
yep.
She
And
kills Magpie because something Magpie says, and I can't remember what it was, but it was something along the lines of like making Sophia being like, "You, you, you were behind this all along. Is my dad paying you to do this?" And then just grabs her head and smashes it into the table.
But this is after she finds out that she's not getting a trial, that they
Oh,
deemed her
oh,
medically insane.
I'm sorry. You're absolutely correct. She finally has a face to face with her brother, and he's apologizing to her, saying we tried everything we could, but there's no trial.
Yep.
And that's when she goes back in there, snaps, grabs Magpie's face, smashes it into the table until she's dead, and says, "I guess I'm a killer for real now," or something along those
No, no,
lines.
no. She doesn't even say that. She says I'm not a killer after she killed Magpie.
Yeah.
And that was when she finally snapped because she held on until her brother told her that she wasn't getting a court
Yep.
case.
And we still don't know exactly how she got out.
No, we did not find that out. No, we
No, we did not.
we got hint at it at the end. Julian, her therapist, and Alberto helped her get out,
Oh no, that is true. You're right.
but we don't know
also,
how.
but also, her therapist had left. So meaning like he had quit Arkham before.
He quit,
Yeah.
and she took that as him abandoning him.
And then she snapped for real in real time, realizing that all the men in my life are untrustworthy.
Yep.
None of them could do what I need to do. And you're right. I should. This is a new birth. I should have started new after today. And we see her snap mentally, right
Mhm.
there. However, she doesn't truly snap yet, realistically. Bear with me. It's not obvious that she snapped, right? Um,
Well, we think she's going to, but then when
but then she doesn't. But then
she
doesn't look like
agrees
she
with
does.
him, saying, "I think
Yes.
you're right. We need a new beginning."
Yes, and so she goes to the family function, which apparently is to reminisce or,
Congratulate Luca for becoming head of the family.
but isn't it also to mourn Alberto too? Isn't it a combination of the two?
No, I think that's over. The funeral's done, so I think
Oh, that's
that's.
right.
I
But anyway,
think I could be wrong.
so she gets there and she's, "Oh, I'm just here to support Luca."
Yep.
And she's at the head of the table and he's making a speech saying, "We've been through a lot together, blah blah blah." And then she starts banging on her glass. I would like to say something. And she goes, "None of you really cared about me, blah, 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 all this stuff." And she goes, "You all signed the paperwork to get me to stay in Arkham and to stay there forever. But you know what? I think we're going to." I forgot how she phrased it, but she didn't say she was leaving tomorrow. She says it's going to be a new beginning for me tomorrow.
She said it's a new beginning for everybody.
That's right. But alluding to the fact that she's leaving.
Yeah, yep. Made it seem like she was going to leave, or
And so
they were at least going to get out of their hair.
Yep. And then she gets up and leaves.
I have to say though that during that speech, the cousin, Carla, that her name?
I think
No,
so. Yes.
no, Carla. Either way, she when she said, "Oh, you all knew what my father did, and none of you tried to help me." She actually looked caught off guard by that. She actually looked like it seemed like she actually was unaware that actually happened, and that she was framed for something. Which I thought was interesting because obviously with the way that we're making it seem like everybody
Everyone else
knew.
signed paperwork. Yeah, no, everyone signed the paperwork realistically. I get your point. I don't know. I was tough to tell for sure. I think you're right, but at the same time, I feel like she knew something. Um,
I mean, I feel like if she really knew,
she wouldn't have even wasted her time talking to
she wouldn't
Sophia.
but even still, like her fear
Wouldn't be real.
Yeah, like the other guy, the other ones in the family fear her because they know that she knows that they all let it happen,
But they're not afraid that she would actually do anything technically.
Yeah, they know that she's
do it because legitimately she's never actually killed anybody.
No,
well, in their mind,
she did.
In their mind, yeah, but in their mind, she didn't. Think about it. I don't think they knew that she actually killed somebody in Arkham for real.
I mean, I imagine that once she was in Arkham and that was it. So I agree with you.
So my whole thing is like, although I think they were scared of her in the way of like she can make our lives miserable, I don't think they were ever going to think she would kill them.
Yeah, I don't think they ever saw her as a real threat.
So then the episode continues on with it's at night, and Sophia goes upstairs to get the little girl, and they go and sleep in the greenhouse together.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure why that was happening.
I thought that
She was
she
going to
was
kidnap
going
her.
to kill her.
Oh, see, I thought she was going to kidnap the kid.
Well, when they went to the greenhouse, I thought she was when she took her into the greenhouse, I thought she was going to torture her cousin by like I thought it was like she's going to set the greenhouse on fire and kill her.
Yeah,
Um,
it didn't happen the way I thought. I'll say it that way.
both of us were wrong.
100%. So then she all of a sudden pulls out a gas mask and walks into the house, and everyone except for Vidi's room is dead.
Mm-hmm. Just goes through and just start. She seals up the gas line, and I'm just sitting there with my jaw on the ground, going, "Oh my god!"
And she starts dancing her way through all the rooms. And why wasn't Vidi's room affected? Was his window open? Was that the
His
issue?
window was open.
Okay.
Yeah,
But she knew his window was open.
yeah, because she still needed him.
Okay, that's what I knew there was something weird. Um, so we see everyone's dead except for Vidi, and she goes in there and be like, "Hey, we got work to do. Let's get going."
I like, ugh. This episode was so good.
No, it was so good, and yet she's now a killer.
Oh yeah, she is now in charge, and Penguin
without
is in
he's-
trouble.
No, Penguin's next on her list.
Yep.
Penguin's next on her list, and honestly, my only thing is I don't know. And hear me out on this. Whether it's going to be Penguin she goes after first or the Maronis, based on what the Maronis have already done. And the reason why I say that is because if they touched her mushrooms, she's going to go after the Maronis first, and Penguin will be second.
I think she's going to go for the Maronis first just because she knows where they are. Penguin, technically, unless Penguin doesn't, like, I'm assuming Penguin's in hiding now because he has two families after him. So, and she's not going to be able to go after him until she finds him. So she knows where the Maronis are, so she's probably going to be going after them first.
Absolutely.
Either that, or she's just not going to pay them any because technically Sophia didn't know anything about what was going on with the Maronis. She's just going to say, you know what, you guys aren't important unless you interfere with me. She's just going to be building up her own network to hunt down Penguin. That's kind of
or she has a sit down with them, like kind of similar to what you're saying, and it's like, here's how this is going to go. I'm looking to kill the Penguin. You all can stay out of my way, and I'll let you have what you want. But if you get in my way, your entire family will be cut off from existence.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, yeah, that too. That's so they're like technically three possibilities.
So looking forward to the next episode. We are actually going to be we should be able to see it Sunday night.
Yeah, we'll be able to see it Sunday night. I don't know when we'll be able to record. We've been lucky that the last 3 Mondays have been raining, so or whatever. I've been home, so I've been able to record on Monday.
But we'll have to see what happens for the following week. But once Penguin's done, we'll go back to our Sundays.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Well, no, we will. But I mean, like realistically, Penguin was the only reason why we switched.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the Penguin.
Yeah, no, this is great. I'm loving these nods to other characters from the comics that they're putting in there. It's not like right in your face. It's just subtle little things, and they're putting their own take on it. Whatever. It's not. This show is just so different than what we're used to that it is
such a good job.
It's doing so great. It's just that it's a mob show. It's great. It's not your typical superhero stuff.
No, absolutely. I love it though. All right, let's move on to your character spotlight.
Yeah, so my character spotlight this week, it's funny because everyone in this episode, I've done character spotlights in the past. Like I did a character spotlight on Magpie way before. So I'm like, I can't do another one. Although you probably forgot, so I probably could have. But
I was wondering why Magpie sounded so familiar.
So there you go. I could have gotten away with it.
No, you
but this week I figured, you know what, we'll keep on going through the Falcone family. So this week, we're going to talk about Johnny Viti.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. You've piqued my
jo-
interest.
Johnny Viti is the nephew of Carmine Falcone and the son of Carla Viti. Um, he he was the enforcer to Carmine, and mainly when the Falcons were more in power during the beginning of Batman. So like the Falcons were significant in the origins of Batman. So that's when they more had their power play. Um, and as I mentioned in past character spotlight, he is one of the victims of Alberto Falcone, who is also known as the Holiday Killer. So history of him: his first appearance came in the Batman issue number 407, which was back in May 1987.
I'm not running away. I just need to put something on the stove. Keep going.
You do what you got to do. He was in the Falcone house when Catwoman was raiding the home. She believes that making a strike against the Falcones will help forge her own status. And at that time, Batman arrives at the same time and takes out the Falcones. While Batman is fighting the Falcones, Catwoman escapes and leaves a scar on Carmine. Because of this situation and how things were led up, where Batman shows up and Catwoman escapes, media finds out about this and they assume that Batman and Catwoman, who is actually new in just for making her own appearance, they believe that they're working together. Now, during this, Commissioner Loeb is still in the pocket of the Falcones. So Gordon, who obviously, as we know, is a friend of Batman, Commissioner Loeb and the Falcones make the decision to target Gordon to try to hurt the Batman. The Falcones go attack Gordon. But in terms, their goal was to kidnap his family to make Gordon submit to the quote unquote law. But because of that, while they were kidnapping Bruce Wayne, who was actually Bruce Wayne at this time, just happened to be nearby. So when he saw that, he sprung into action, saving Gordon's family. This leads to Batman and Gordon targeting the Falcones. They take them down. And with the resignation of Commissioner Loeb, Gordon then takes over, becomes commissioner, and earns I guess not commissioner, but he earns the title of Captain Gordon because of the situation. Jumping forward, the Batman, The Long Halloween, Bruce Wayne is studying the manifesto of Carmine Falcone along with Carla Viti. Carmine is attempting to get Wayne to agree to use his banks to aid in money laundering, and Wayne refuses. That is while going on, this is taking place during the wedding of Johnny Viti. Later down the road, there's a bank owner walking down the street, and Johnny Viti sees him and does basically a drive-by. Johnny Viti, later down the road, he himself gets murdered by, as we've said, the Holiday Killer, Alberto Falcone, during his revenge tour of trying to destroy his father. Johnny Viti, as I said, he is an enforcer to Carmine Falcone. Obviously, in this show, they're taking a different take on that. He was still the enforcer, but with Carmine's passing, he then moved on to the next head, which in this case was Luca, and now Sophia. We'll see how much of an impact he will play because, as we've said in the comics, he did, he was more important in the Batman's beginning, but once Batman kind of stopped the gang violence, or lessened it, I guess, he was playing less and less of a prominent role until he was eventually murdered by his nephew. Is that how? Yeah. No, cousin, right?
Cousin.
Yeah. So yeah, that is a small little history of Johnny Vitti. He was titled, I guess, the muscle of the family, looking out for doing the dirty work that Carmine did not want to get involved with.
Which is interesting because obviously Carmine does get his hands dirty.
Oh yeah, everybody gets their hands dirty eventually, but when you're up there,
you don't want to be too dirty.
You don't.
Well, you don't want to have too many loose ends.
What's that?
You don't want to have too many loose ends. You don't want to be able to be caught. Is more of I would guess the thing.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm. You know what? I'm kind of liking. I will say this, and I think I've talked to you about this before. I like the crime families in Gotham. It's very similar to like the crime families, the mafia in like New York, specifically like because there were a bunch of because Kingpin became Kingpin because of all the families and everything else. Eventually became on top, but like Kingpin himself, his family was never the big time. He had to like take over. And like I like those because they're just regular people. I know it sounds stupid to say, but like for the most part, they're regular people. They have their weird ones. They have their penguins. They have their hammerheads. But I mean, like they have their whole thing.
I mean, the thing is, like, Penguin isn't a superpowered being. He's just a mob boss.
No, and I mean, technically, either his hammerhead, he just has a plate in his head.
True. That is true. No,
I
mean,
my point I'm making is just one of those things where it's like, it's the like although those characters aren't big when you think of the grand scheme of the universe,
yeah,
but they are so interesting.
No. I mean, hey, even still, like these characters are a major part of what makes these superheroes so big. Like I said, if it wasn't for the buildup of the mob bosses, like Batman wouldn't have a beginning. I mean, you have Spider-Man and Daredevil for Kingpin, and like that gets them off the ground. I mean, obviously, Spider-Man has a lot more variety in terms of like more major villains, but I mean, Kingpin is still a major player. I mean, it's and when the reason why I was confused about Hammerhead, I got him mixed up with Gravestone. Gravestone? Is that his name? Tombstone. I got him mixed up with Tombstone.
No, Tombstone is definitely a metahuman.
Yeah.
But I get your point. But yeah, so that, my friends, is going to be the end of this episode. Next week, we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Agatha and the latest episode of The Penguin.
We're going to run it back.
We're going to do it again. But to be fair, I think we're more looking forward to it just because we don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. Overall, if you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, there's going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Eel Podcast. Have a great night. Bye-bye.